Hey everyone, we are back. Welcome to the live stream. If you were just here a second ago, you saw the dogs being actively part of the part of the stream. Thanks for joining me. We're going to stream tonight. Going to do about an hour and a half working on this painting I'm doing now. So I'll take you along on the little journey here to kind of watch it as it's work on probably the butterfly and the skull tonight. So you kind of see that all go into action. Be live streaming for about an hour, hour and a half. Any questions you have about the art in general, anything at all, just feel free to chime on in the comments. We're streaming on both Facebook and YouTube, so feel free to chime on in. Again, thanks for hanging out. And you'll hang out with us in the shipping department. So thank you guys, and we're gonna get after it here. I've already kind of started warming up. So if you saw me, I streamed this on YouTube last night. We kind of started this piece. And I kind of basically did this section last night on the stream. So we'll probably do kind of this section tonight. So again, thanks for coming by. And if you're new to the art, welcome. And if you're new to the live stream, also welcome. We're excited to add Facebook to the list. We've been streaming over on YouTube, but we decided to kind of open it up a little bit so you guys on Facebook who follow us could see it too. So.
Ben says hi.
Hey Ben.
Stephanie says hi.
Stephanie too. Welcome. Thank you guys again. Yeah, we've been.
Alyssa says the work looks incredible.
Thank you, Alyssa. Well, yeah, it's really fun to kind of open up and share with everybody. We kind of been on YouTube sharing the work over there, and so we finally got it to work so we can share the stream on with all our Facebook followers too. So super excited to be able to share the work in progress. You kind of see how it all comes together rather than just pictures. And so again, any question you guys have, thank you guys again for joining. So appreciate it, and I'll just get after it, and I'll chit chat while I work. So. Dogs have already left. They already don't give.
Alyssa says the shipping department deserves a raise.
Shipping department got its own camera on the live stream. I don't know what else they can get. They cashed in pretty much. Only one of them left. Where's the rest of the they get nothing. They don't get paid. They're paid to be here on the stream. Now they're not here. So it's fun to kind of share the progress of one of these bigger pieces. I've been doing so many small pieces for the Halloween release. It's been a while since I did a large piece, and with no shows anymore, I'm not doing any shows or live demos for Day of the Dead or Arizona or anything else I would normally be doing it this season. SEMA, it's fun to kind of capture some of that painting in front of people again and share questions and share the process. And so I'm excited to get the stream going. I hope you guys enjoy it too. Now that we just paint in my jammies at home. Which I did anyway, so I don't really mind. My life didn't change much. And for the new people, if you hear the term the shipping department, that is the Best Artist dogs. So I'll probably finish this piece in the next week or so, and then come in paper and canvas prints and all the normal things, and probably released, probably about 3 weeks. Gotta get into the photographer and such. If the world is still here, I will be releasing prints. I'm excited we can get Facebook to work for the day. Notoriously glitchy. that's a record then. I've never had both of them come up and stay up. Although we installed a puppy cam and they just run off now.
Alyssa asks what types of paint and brushes you're using for detail.
So Alyssa is asking what kind of paints and brushes I use for the detail. So the background is acrylic, all the color, the background behind the flowers. All the color you see here is gouache. Gouache is like an opaque watercolor. Basically, it's a little more flexible than watercolor. I can when it's dried, I can kind of re-wet it and rework it a little bit. It does transparencies a little better than watercolor. So that whole layer is all the colors, everything you see here. This is all the gouache. And the stage I'm using now is enamel. Enamel is like a pinstriper's paint, and that's where all the detail gets carved in. This is really my favorite part of the whole process. It's kind of where all the decisions are made. You can put all the little nooks and crannies and kind of carve everything out. So it's almost like painting with ink, if I was to describe it, because one stroke is completely opaque. There's no going back over it. There's no taking it off. There's no fixing it. When it's down, it's down. And that style of paint is really kind of my signature style is kind of crafted because of finding that paint and just basically learning to work in that way. And it's kind of how my brain sees things anyway. So when I found that paint, it kind of basically opened up the door to, okay, that's how I want to do things. I want to work from, basically loose to tight and work on all the backgrounds and highlights first, and then just basically carve all the detail out last. Like the opposite of a tattoo. Tattoo, they just trace the design down and then do all the color fills. This is kind of almost the opposite direction. And so for this butterflies, I'll do all the darken the wings, and the last stage I'll go back in with white, and I'll do all the little polka dots that go all up and down his wings. And that's when it really pops out. Hear the pitter patter of feet. Another quarter of the shipping department. 33% more people.
Bjork says hi. How are you doing tonight?
Hey, Bjork. Thanks for stopping by again. Appreciate you hanging out. The farthest watcher.
Mr. Soul Serious says masterful.
Thank you, Soul Serious. Why so serious?
Scott Solis is very nice.
Thank you, Scott, for hanging out the stream. Appreciate everybody coming by. This is kind of fun. My career has been basically built doing shows and demos and being out there and people seeing the art. So it's I appreciate you guys hanging out and coming over here now. We've been doing these with some frequency on YouTube, so we'll basically start trying to share more of these on Facebook also.
Mr. So Serious says, thank you again for the album cover artwork.
Oh, excellent. Thank you, man. I appreciate you choosing the art to represent your creativity. It's always kind of cool when someone can relate to the art that much that they want to share it and identify with it.
Says, love this piece.
Thank you. Appreciate it. This piece is kind of basically came out of during my Halloween release. I had a little small, just a tiny little piece in a metal frame, and there's a little butterfly on a skull, and it kind of started the wheels turning, and I wanted to kind of elaborate on that thought, a little more, kind of that idea of these skulls in nature just kind of out there being reclaimed by nature. So I wanted to kind of work in that way, and wanted to include some other little frog down here. There's a bee right there. Just some of the more of the nature elements of rebirth and things that I enjoy. So this piece was kind of started cooking there, and then basically once I was done the Halloween release, I kind of dove in. That's kind of how some of this stuff just kind of comes about. Get inspired by it, just happens.
Stunning.
Thank you, Susan, for hanging out. Appreciate everybody joining the stream tonight.
Facebook's where it's at.
Yeah, Facebook's where it's at.
Alyssa Arias is so talented.
Thank you, Alyssa. Appreciate you stopping by the stream also. It's a full house.
What is everybody doing on Facebook tonight?
Appreciate everybody hanging out here.
Casey Hughes said it's looking good.
Thanks, Casey. All right, let's get to some. I'm gonna get to some skull parts. I'm gonna slide my cam a little bit so that you guys can see that when I move to this. I was talking about the stream last night. I really love skulls this big. And normally they're, in my paintings, they're kind of, I'm lucky if they're $half size because usually there's a full scene. So, I mean, I could literally just paint nooks and crannies in detail on these skulls just for days.
Andrea and Gwendolyn both say thank you for sharing this.
Thank you, guys. Andrea and Gwendolyn, thank you for coming by the stream and hanging out. I love being able to share the work like this. Again, my career was kind of built painting in front of people, so I can talk, and I actually enjoy painting with people watching it, so I can answer questions and show the work. So thank you guys for indulging me. This is kind of the grid pattern that I make. Again, I don't want to repeat if you watched last night's stream, but this is kind of how I build out these points, like this eye over here, as I basically kind of build this grid, and then I just keep eliminating, making more lines and filling it in and filling it in, just kind of capturing the values, pushing the tones, kind of evening it out, so it just get that deep feeling inside the skull, like it goes back forever.
The close cam's a little fuzzy.
A little fuzzy? Let me refocus you here. Burp.
Oh, that's better.
There you go. Let me lock in your focus here. Oh, you're good.
Chris Osborne says, love your work. I have 3 pieces in my home and I get comments all the time.
Hey, thanks, Chris. Appreciate you. Everyone comes to your house with the art. But thanks, I mean, it's humbling. It's still never not humbling that people would hang the work in their house and relate to it, like I was talking about earlier. I will always appreciate it.
Ben said he switched to Facebook. Saw a little bit better feed and he's seeing his chats better.
Oh, excellent. Ben, does it feel like it's sharper or any video difference, or just rolling a little faster?
One YouTuber to the next.
Yeah, one YouTuber next. Just trying to iron out the problems, man. I figure I'm going to focus my efforts here. I'm going to start knocking these back a little bit. Picking and choosing.
Dan Martin in the house.
Hey, Dan Martin. Arizona in the house. If Dan's here, who's guarding the musical instruments? Like the museum is just ripe for a robbery.
Vishal Arts from India popping in again.
Hey, competing for farthest away. Thank you from India.
So, Casey Hughes is asking again about brushes.
Yes.
He leans towards Tidwell and Mac, and just curious what you like for liners.
Tidwell's a jerk. Just kidding. Tidwell, I have all his brushes. He's a really good guy. We've done books together and everything. So, but actually, we've ran into each other. We've been in the same art circle since I started, probably 10, 12 years ago. But I like his stuff. I love his flat brush. Oh, see, now he's gonna I can't mention it and not get it right. This brush. It's probably my favorite. I've probably gone through 5 or 6 of them. What is this one? This is the mullet. I like the green one from his other set a little more, and you've probably gone through 5 or 6 of those. I just like it. It's synthetic fiber. I don't use natural fibers, so I try and always use synthetic. So I like that brush a lot. So that's probably my favorite fill. And my strip liners, I enjoy Lowell Cornell strip liners, a lot. I like Robert Simmons strip liners, and I use occasionally we use a pinstriping liner brush also. Not the shorty pinstriping brushes, but some of the script liners. It's so weird drawing these 2 skulls. I mean, the piece in my mind obviously has this togetherness, this end of life. And I'm painting the skulls. Like, did I make one a man and one a woman? Did I make them both men? Are they both women? I was fascinated by that. How I sometimes when I draw the skulls out, how some of the elements. When you don't have eyelashes and wrinkles and skin to show, emotions and effects on their faces. It's kind of fun how, you could use these shapes and the colors and the angles to kind of explain that closeness and the relationship of these two skulls together.
Lisa Guerrero thinks we need more puppy cam.
More puppy cam? Come on. They got their own cam. They need more than that?
Whitney Sutton wants to know how you come up with ideas or inspiration.
Whitney Sutton is asking how I come up with ideas and inspiration. So, Day of the Dead is where the work all starts, and that's really the primary inspiration for all of it. The idea of remembrance, the celebration, the colors, the pageantry, the idea of celebrating loved ones lost is really the basic foundation of all the work. Individual pieces, in the Western stuff or the military stuff, then there's changes, but the idea is still that celebration. It's still kind of that showing these moments in time. That's why I love using a skeleton, because it's not man or woman like I talked earlier. It's not white or black. It's not blue eyes. It's everybody. And it lets you cut to the trueness of the scene. When you see some like military pieces, you don't see individual soldiers. Bob and Jim. You see soldiers. You can kind of cut right to the idea, right to the story. I love that purity that's in that. So really, kind of my ideas kind of blossom from there, and then it's kind of what I'm inspired by. I have a lists of ideas and just kind of what comes to me. I won't finish my list. I'll die not having gotten everything done. I have so much I want to paint still, but I'm just inspired by a lot of old masters, a lot of things. I love religious art. I love some of the antiquity. I love the colors and graffiti art. It's just so many aspects that are inspiring that aren't necessarily what I do. That was kind of long-winded explanation of what I was trying to get to, but there's no one source. I can't just like watch a movie and think, oh, I'm gonna get inspired by that. Some colors in it might happen, or something in it might trigger something, but it's really, kind of a little bit of everything.
Bubs is in the house.
Bubs, thanks for coming and hanging out. Man, everybody's coming out. Facebook is where it's at tonight. Everybody wants to see the skull done. I'll come out. My skull milkshakes bring the boys to the yard. We still short dogs here? The lack of support is really...
Björk is asking, what art do you have on the walls yourself? Do you own other art or not just your stuff?
So Bjork's asking what other art I have on the walls, and yes, I have tons of other art. I don't know how you can be an artist and not be inspired by other artists. I mean, I've been doing shows for so long and meeting artists and collecting art myself. I have my whole entryway to my studio, probably a 10-foot long, 20-foot long wall, is just covered with pieces, mostly originals, all just stuff that I loved and was loved seeing. So I have all kinds of and those are all contemporary. Those are all artists I've met, done shows with, and kind of add to my collection. I have my books collection is all all kinds of old masters, medieval, from my desk I can see, medieval art, oceanic, images, Posada, all different kind of, full of all of it. Again, I love watching art be created. That's just, when I see someone at a festival working, which isn't often, when I see them making art, I love to watch. I love to sit there and watch people make art. I think it's just, for me, it's so soothing and interesting, and I get inspired to paint. Even if it's someone painting a seascape in watercolor or a lobster boat, I still, to see the actual art of making art, I get excited. I want to paint.
As far as sketches go, are they complete for your reference, or do you veer from the original idea throughout the painting? Do you just kind of slap it down and roll with it?
So great question. How close is my sketch to where I kind of end up? So my sketch will have like the skull shape, a skull, but there's no detail, like all these lines, nothing of this is in there. This is all kind of made up when I get there. It just gives me, I always have sketches first because it just helps me make sure everything ends up in the right place and ends up being included, and it gives me a roadmap, but basically it's kind of a loose guideline in terms of, where everything goes, but there isn't much detail in it. It's just kind of, shapes, there's no texture, there's no wrinkles. If it's, as a cowboy, there's no wrinkles in his outfit. It just kind of gives me where his body is, where his arm is, where these pieces are. And from there I kind of create, and that freedom is what's so fun. Just to, like these teeth, I had shapes for them, but none of these little lines, none of this stuff inside here to carve out was in there. This is all kind of made when I get here, and this is what I really enjoy about painting. I get to make, this doesn't exist. This thing doesn't happen in the real world. This isn't a thing until I make it a thing. So for me, that's the really fun part to enjoy. So I try and just not lock myself into anything. And I will change. I won't make drastic changes. I won't add a third skull when I start, painting this if my drawing didn't have it in there. I wouldn't add another butterfly because I don't like to make those kind of changes that late in the process. I like to flush those ideas out in the sketch process. So it's a little bit of both. It gives me a nice hard map of where I'm going, but also gives me the freedom to kind of experiment and not be locked into anything.
On the side cam, can you move the piece up?
Yep. In focus? All right.
So what do you mean about making relationships in your art?
So for me, I love the idea of relationships, whether it be some of my animal works where there's a symbiotic relationship of the oxpecker, which is a bird that eats the parasites and ticks off of elephants and rhinos. I love that little relationship that this elephant will tolerate this tiny little bird who's helping keep the elephant healthy. That's one of those animal relationships. There's people, obviously the people relationships, men and women, these kind of love, romance, those type of traditional relationships. But I think there's so much more, for me here with these animals. These are all animals that go through large metamorphic changes, including us. This is kind of the whole process here. These bones and skulls are feeding the life that's on this forest floor. That's a relationship. This frog here is eating the insects that are come from these skulls. The butterfly goes from the chrysalis to the caterpillar. Those are all relationships and transformations. That's what I love capturing in my art. Kind of capturing some of those things that aren't as obvious, but the subtle parts of it. I mean, all my animal stuff usually has that kind of relationship, in it. I love to show that, tiny large animal, big, tiny little animal, just those things that happen in nature. For me, just painting a skull by itself is just, it's boring, quite frankly. There's just, how many heavy metal rock raw, skulls can you paint? I like to have something more. There's enough guys that can do that. I don't need to do that too. For me, I have stories I want to tell. I want to relationships, just kind of, I want deeper stories. I want to tell things, a little extra, a little farther. And that's kind of where that's why for me, I love art. I love being able to tell those stories and share those pieces and just kind of give a little more. Kind of like that aha moment when someone's looking at the art and go, oh, look at that's part of that thing. And that's, oh, look, put one of those in there. And I see how that relates.
Lisa Guerrero being controversial, saying go Dodgers.
Causing sports problems. thank Amari for stopping by, checking out the work. Appreciate it. Again, this is my favorite part. I guess drawing the large skulls with enamel and the detail. This is exciting to me. Like I was itching to get after it. To the point where I'll break my own promises, and I'm not going to stay to the left side. Now I'm going to the right side.
What's the favorite piece you've done?
Oh, it's so tough. Whitney asked for which favorite child we want to talk about. It's difficult. The one I'm working on now, is always kind of the newest piece is kind of always the favorite child. Boy. I think for me, the Last Call is one of my favorite pieces because it just encompasses so many paintings I've done in the past. It's kind of like, a tribute to some of the work I've done, lots of the work I've done. I mean, it's like, I think 13 different paintings that I've done inside of one painting. I think that's just that was a fun experience for me that I'd never had before, to kind of capture characters and revisit ideas in one big painting. So that's always going to have a spot in my heart for sure. And I think right now, Rum Runners is my other favorite because it's still so fresh and it was so giant. I mean, the piece was 5 feet tall and was so much fun and so long to paint. And I just enjoy that process of being just stuck in it for a long time and working on a piece that, while it's grueling and it's over 100 hours of work into it, it's so rewarding. To capture that. It's one of those, you almost don't want it to finish sometimes, but then you desperately want it to finish.
Cody says, I like the frog.
Thank you, Cody, for hanging out, man. Great to hear from you. Appreciate the frog love.
Whitney says, yay, more frogs and turtles.
Yes. This is the first frog. We realized that last night. This is the first frog I've ever painted. He's got some side eye going on now. And that kind of goes back to the conversation about relationships. I mean, I just love how these things interact. It's a fun story to tell. Would the painting, be as good without him? Yeah. But I think it's just more fun, and to find those little things. Like, look at that. I have a bee. You can't see it in the frame, but it's a bee up top here. It's part of that whole, circle of life relationship. And those little things are fun for me to paint and include.
Mr. Soul Serious asks, what inspired you at an early age? Was it pop culture, TV, movies? Like, what moved you to become an artist?
What moved me to become an artist? So I am a late in life artist bloomer. I always drew as a kid. Always did art. Again, I was inspired by, of course, cartoons and comic books, like kind of drawing from them. I would always draw little war scenes. That's what little boys do. But I think for me, I had a graphic designer in my family, so I was quickly talked out of being an artist because that doesn't make any money and you can't do that. Like, that was, the angle that my family had. So they were very supportive of the art and everything, but they weren't, like, it's not a career. You got to do something else. So I think for me, I didn't start painting. I mean, in college, I took all the drawing classes that they had, all of them. That's why I think the work now is so illustrative. But I didn't take any painting classes. I took one watercolor class, and that was it. No painting classes. And I got my degree in graphic design, and I love that, and it was great for me, and I could have a job and be creative, and that's what everyone told me was I was lucky to have that as an artist. I didn't know that you could be, a professional sculptor, or, living out in California. I didn't know there was so much in the film industry you could do. I didn't know that those were jobs because you're just not exposed to that kind of stuff. So for me, inspired by, skateboards, being from the East Coast, seeing that kind of artwork, T-shirt, Contra T-shirt posters. That was where the cool art was really coming from, and that's the cool art that I saw. But again, I didn't know that an artist made that stuff. Like it didn't connect because no one told me that stuff.
Lisa asks, are you more creative now, kind of during COVID, or more of being on the road?
So, am I more creative now or during COVID or before? Two-part answer. One, I'm more creative when the clock changes. when it gets dark at 5 o'clock, look out. My productivity doubles because when it gets dark, I start working. So if it doesn't get dark till 7 or 8, then I'm not working till 7 or 8. But I think for me, it's really been almost the same. I think I've shifted my focus a little bit, working on some smaller pieces. And that's what's changed the most is when we're doing shows and festivals, I would be doing pieces that I'd be painting for demos, that were 3 days long, so they're huge pieces. And that's what has changed for me is I haven't been able to do as many large pieces just because it doesn't fit the schedule the same way. I've been doing some smaller stuff, and which is fun, but the huge stories like we talked about before, those relationships, those epic pieces I love. So that's what's changed the most is it's really kind of shifted my focus and trying new things and kind of branching out and just kind of replotting what a life without shows and festivals looks like. That's been my job and my direction since I started as an artist. So I think I'm just as creative both ways. I mean, I love what I do. I love getting to paint. I'd be painting here right now tonight, whether I was live or not. I'd still be here in my jammies painting. Thanks, Carl.
Cody Brown says, awesome work as always.
Hey.
Ghostly ghoul playing an organ.
Great. Bye. Cody Brown has sat behind me for hours and watched me do live demos when I used to do them in Old Town, San Diego. I mean, he has watched whole pieces come about. It's good to know I haven't offended so many people they still come back.
Cody says a unicorn skull would be epic.
So My Little Pony skull for Chris Cody. All right.
And Hadassah just got 5 of your mini prints in the mail today. Loves your work.
Thank you so much for snagging some mini prints. What was the name?
Hadassah.
Hadassah, thank you. Appreciate it. Thank you for joining the live stream. Again, thank you, everybody. I appreciate it. You guys, there's a billion other things you could be doing. So I appreciate you stopping in and hanging out for a little bit. And I know you're just here to see the shipping department anyways, so I can deal with that. I have no pride.
Am I right in saying that this is Joe Sue saying greetings from Mexico? Amazing work.
Is it Joe Sue?
Yeah.
Has he been deported?
What's he doing down there?
Poker can't be that good down there. If it is the same Joe Sue, what's going on, man?
Old Times where Whitney first saw your artwork.
Oh, excellent, Whitney. Yeah, again, Old Town was where we kind of started cutting our teeth. It's hot rod shows and Old Town art show when it was a thing. It really is amazing, and I'm so thankful to the people I've met over the, almost 12 years now of doing this. I mean, to see families come by when I knew them as just dating, and they have kids now, or to have a collector come by and say, "Oh, I love your work. I saw you when I was a kid." I mean, it makes you feel old as shit, but it's still amazing to be part of, families' lives and be, something they did together. And we used to always go to the festival and see you there. It's amazing. It's part of the art that you don't know about, as you're being told that you can't be an artist. It's just weird things that you don't know that, to be part of. Some of the tribute pieces that I've gotten to do for military families, for loved ones lost. I mean, just some beautiful parts of art that I didn't know about.
Mari asks, what haven't you painted that you'd like to paint in one of your future works?
What haven't I painted? It's all weird stuff that only I will like. I want to paint a giant World War I trench battle piece. I want to paint a giant, knights on horseback jousting each other and battling. It's dragons. It's all weird stuff that only I will like. But I will paint it, damn it. There's a lot of, I love armor. I love painting armor. I love the intricacies of it. I love that style of stuff. I would love to do an armored piece with an armored horse. I've always wanted to do that, and I will do it eventually. I've done a samurai armored horse, and I love the texture and just detail. I love hours of detail, and armor has that.
Christine says, incredible work, proud of the several pieces we own with Bubs.
Oh, thank you, Bubs and Christine. Thank you guys for hanging out, collecting the art. See, and that's why these streams are so fun. Just to see all these people that I talked to in the past and come back out. So thank all of you. I really appreciate it. Take that, dogs.
Chris Cody loves the World War II stuff.
Cody, honestly, Cody, if I had my way, that's all I would paint too. It'd be all World War II fighter planes, and that's what I'm saying. I gotta temper it. And I love Western stuff. I have a really fun Western idea in my head. I want to do I don't want to give it all away. You have to wait, but it's fun. It's Western in the fun, shoot 'em up way of, but party drinking kind of fun, So we'll see if I get to that soon. But I have some fun ideas. I haven't done a Western piece in so long, so I think it's time to. And now that I have all this time.
Did you have a favorite TV show growing up?
Favorite TV show growing up? I grew up in the Knight Rider, Airwolf. These are not things that endear me to anybody. And half the streams you have to go look it up and go, what is he talking about?
He won't even know.
Oh, Ben, you won't even know this stuff. Yeah, I love the movie Flash Gordon, Ben. Go find that. And then thank me later, Ben. Yeah, I'm old. What do you want me to do, Ben?
La Prima says your work is amazing.
Thank you, La Prima?
La Prima.
La Prima, thank you. Thanks for hanging out with some weird old guy who talks about TV shows no one knows about. And Ben, you're lucky that YouTube would take my stream, or Facebook also would take my stream down if we started playing the theme song.
Chris Cody just joined SAS. He's becoming a cowboy.
I knew that too, Cody. That's really cool. I was a SAS shooter for a while. I loved it. I went there to shoot reference pictures. So for you guys who don't know, SAS is a single action shooting where you dress like a cowboy. You have cowboy nicknames. Well, this isn't sounding cool at all when I'm explaining it. And you shoot. It's on speed, and you shoot two 6-shot revolvers, a lever action rifle, and a shotgun, and it's all based on speed. But you have to use these traditional weapons and traditional guns, and it's really fun because everyone's 1,000 years old and very nice. But it's just really fun. I went there to shoot some reference pictures, and they just were so welcoming and made me try it, and I just fell in love. It was super fun. My schedule doesn't allow it anymore, and the local club is gone, but really fun. I mean, just a fun way to kind of capture the old West and feel like, you're basically, mashing this trigger on these 6-shooters. You're like you're in Old West. It's really fun. So I encourage anybody to try that for sure.
You have people saying Knight Rider. I loved Airwolf. I have
Yeah. See? Yeah. This is my people.
Mr. Soul Series says I'm only 36, but I know who Flash Gordon is.
Okay. And I encourage you to look up Airwolf if you have never heard of that, because that is equally terrible.
Sarah Mendoza says your work's awesome. Love the Western prints.
Thank you, Sarah. And if you just came in, we were talking about some more Western coming soon. As I say, it's been a while. I think the last one was a couple piece, but I think I have I have some train robbery stuff. I have some fun ideas. We spent so much time in Arizona doing shows, for years. And the Western stuff just really kind of leaked into the system, and it's just part of it now.
Poor Ben says, stop talking in a different language. You sound like my math teacher talking about math.
Oh. There's the old guy comments.
You're so old.
So old.
Oh boy. Lisa says, how about the $6 million man?
Oh, Steve Austin.
Chris Cody's saying, how about the greatest American hero?
I love The Greatest American Hero. And his hair was spectacular.
This is the oldest ass channel.
Yeah. Boy, this channel just come back from the buffet, you know? This channel should all be in bed by 4 o'clock here. Get off my lawn. Yeah. This is a channel that only knows Colin Quinn from Remote Control.
Mr. Soul Serious says, train robbery sounds epic. That'll be his next album cover.
Yes, and the train robbery idea is funny because it's been, I've had it for a long time, and it's a bunch of different iterations in my head of and ideas of how I want to do it, but that will definitely have to happen. I painted a train a long time ago, and I just really enjoyed that part of it and would like to get back and revisit for sure.
Oh, Ben wants to know where the Bob's Burger fans are. I don't even know.
I don't even know what that is. I've heard of it.
So, Josu would like to know what your history is with the Mexican culture that's led you to represent it in several of your works.
So Josu's asking about my connection to the Mexican culture and how it got into my works. Great question. So I moved to Southern California again, like 15 years ago, and was really starting to explore art and kind of find my artistic voice. And I've never seen Day of the Dead before. And I grew up on the East Coast, and there wasn't anything like this. And I'd never seen it before, and I was just amazed. And if you're from this area, it's very prevalent. The colors, the pageantry, the Talavera. I mean, it's everywhere, even off season. So I was just really amazed by that and really inspired by the idea of remembrance. And I was really jealous that I didn't have a holiday where we sat around and talked about, like my grandfather who passed away. Like, we didn't talk about his favorite songs. It's all about, you remember him and you talk about him at the wake, but not like who he really was and his favorite food and the important details that really help someone stay alive in your memory. And I was really jealous I didn't have those kind of memories. And when the Day of the Dead was being explained to me, I just was so inspired. And it really I was searching for artistic direction, and it just kind of overwhelmed me. And it became what I focused on. Went to Mexico, to Oaxaca and to the Yucatan to watch the festivals and be a part of it. And it was exactly as I hoped. And they were so welcoming. And I mean, these families in these poor towns, these cemeteries, inviting me to share mezcal with them and hang out and tell me about their loved ones that are in that plot. I mean, it was so inspiring, and it couldn't help but just carve my entire direction for my entire artistic career. It's really sad not being able to go to Mexico for Day of the Dead right now because I missed that part. It's so moving and important to me, and I want to always be an ambassador. It was when I started painting Day of the Dead stuff. It was before Book of Life. It was before Coco. I was this guy out there, and I was very conscious that it wasn't my culture, and I didn't want to poach. I didn't want to do it an injustice. I didn't want someone to think that I was just doing this to make money, or that I wanted to understand how important it was to me. And I would speak with these grandmothers and show them the work, and they would just encourage me and smile and have tears in their eyes to see the work, and that was just motivation. It was really important to me to kind of make sure people understood how important it was to me that I live this. This is my house looks like. This is where I go. I listen to stories. I want the work to be a representative of where I feel like it came from. Almost an ambassador.
Cody Brown asks, any chance of seeing classic Universal monsters in the future?
Cody Brown asking about any classic Universal monsters. Probably not. And I don't like to... I try and avoid doing things that aren't mine. I don't like to do pop culture. I don't like to do trademarks that aren't mine. Those are trademarks that are owned by someone else. I have a contract with Disney. I'm a licensed Disney artist. I've done pieces for them and artist in residence and all that kind of stuff. So it strictly forbids doing anything that's related to Disney. But I treat everything kind of the same way as that, though. And I just kind of avoid superheroes. I avoid all that pop culture stuff. I have so many ideas of my own to get to. It's just easier to stick with things that I own and that are mine. Otherwise, I would just paint the Mummy all day long and Frankenstein, which is great. I love the imagery. I mean, Basil Goges is my favorite artists. Traditional, all those pop culture pulp art posters. I mean, I love that stuff. I was just watching the old Mummy movies the other day. But for me, for the art, I just like to do my own thing. That's why I started doing hot rod shows and tattoo shows, and I never did a rat thing. It's certain things that aren't mine. I mean, I have my own story to tell, and I want to make use of my time on this rock, kind of doing my thing.
Yeah, Cody's saying he has some sketches that you had done for him a long time ago.
Yep. Yeah, and kind of was, as a starting artist, I kind of, finding my way in those things and what I was going to do. And yep, I did some Frankenstein stuff, some, in my Tiki collection. I did Elvis before. I did an Evil Knievel. I did some fun stuff too. And again, I love those pieces, but I think at this point in my career, I have so much of my own stuff I want to get done. It's just kind of the direction I'm pulled in. And when you do things that already exist, there's a lot of people doing that. I love that, this is probably the only butterfly 2 skeletons you're going to see tonight on Facebook, So, with a frog in it.
Whitney says the pieces with the skeletons in nature and birds and butterflies speaks to the Day of the Dead, that the memories are still alive.
Exactly.
She'd love to see her loved ones once a year.
Exactly. And that's exactly how I feel, too. Those remembrance, those important times, painting those kind of pieces, that's what I love. That idea of, the carrying spirits. The birds I've done, hummingbird, these symbols of carrying, to the next world. Those are all, I love infusing those stories in my art. It really goes back to the conversation we were having earlier about the relationships, and that's what's important, is capturing those and those stories. Mix a little more paint. Are we speckly over there? I'm gonna try it.
Yeah, could you,
what do you need?
frame?
I can pull them over a little bit. How are we for time?
5 until the hour.
Okay. So again, any questions you guys got? Again, I appreciate all the questions and you guys watching. This is great. This is a lot of fun, and this is what I will be doing anyways. So I will probably. Maybe we'll stream once more on this piece, but if not, you'll see the progress pics and such. And we'll probably be streaming. We're gonna try and stream, once a week or so. And if this works out great, we'll do both Facebook and YouTube so everybody can see it. Excuse me. And then in classic Lozeau fashion, I have forgotten to finish the nose. Got a little excited. And so what will happen is I do a painting. It's always from right to left, top right to bottom left, because I'm left-handed and I drive my big stupid paw through the work. So I try. But for live streams, I couldn't get up that high with the cam, so I try to stay down here. And what happens is I just forget about pieces and forget about this, and now... blah blah, not art, blah blah.
Whitney says she loves the t-shirts. I was thinking, is this going to be a t-shirt?
Is this going to be a t-shirt? Might be. We have a great vendor now, and the work has been looking great on the shirts. I've been enjoying making the shirts, so there's a good chance this will be on a shirt.
And Mark Socks Hollister says if you want to autograph that and send it to Colorado, he'll...
All right, excellent. I'm just gonna stop now, then, Mark. I'm done. I think it's gone far enough. And years ago, when I'm dead, to go, oh, the great unfinished piece from the live stream, where he talked about Airwolf and stuff. That one's gonna be worth a lot. Yeah, I got another Airwolf reference in there.
Ben asks, what was your dream job before you found painting?
Great question, Ben. What was my dream job before painting? So, I'm gonna go like before I went to college for art. Let's go back. Marine biologist. That was what I wanted to do. But I'm not smart. It's a lot of books and math. But that was probably, marine biologist, probably what I wanted to do the most. I was actively involved in volunteering for some outdoor stuff and really loved that part of it. So I was inspired by that. But then I always drew as a kid. Like that's what I always did. That was a natural thing that wasn't me picking what I wanted to do, which is what I always did. I was doing pen and inks, in high school, doing art in that way. And I did graphic design because that's what you had to do to do art. But I think that marine biologist, what I would have done if I hadn't found art, that's what I wanted to do as a kid. But, we all want to be spacemen and everything else.
Craig just popped on and says, I would like you to wear your mask, please, while I'm watching you.
Please social distance.
You couldn't get more distancing right now.
Yeah.
I have a partition between us.
I'm going to draw a little mask on the frog.
Mark says he loves your works, especially the nautical themes.
Thank you, Mark. Nautical themes are one of my favorite things to paint. Like I keep saying that about everything, but that honestly, you'll see. Look at the site. It's full of pieces. I love everything from the serious stuff to the tiki stuff to everything in between. I have some fun stuff coming up soon too. I have a couple of really large commissions, full serious nautical tall ship. Davy Jones locker kind of depths, dark stuff. So I'm super excited to get going with that, and I'll share that here. Maybe we'll be able to live stream a bit of it, but I love nautical maybe the most. I don't know, but it's definitely one of my favorite things to paint for sure.
Do you always finish your painting straight through, or do you have some that you've just put away and lost interest and didn't want to finish?
Another great question. Do I ever abandon pieces or start something else? No, I have this crazy strange fear that I will not know how to paint the same way if I stop a piece for a long period of time. Like if I was to stop right here, I'd be like, I come back, I don't know how to do this now. I don't know how it all works. So I don't, and my brain just doesn't let me switch like that. I can't just mix it up and jump to something else. I'll go to bed tonight thinking about this. I try and stop doing art, by 9 o'clock because I will paint this piece in my head all night. It's really it's terrible sometimes, or I just can't sleep because I'm basically building this in my head. Some ideas I'll get, I just build them and I'm painting them. So I gotta be careful when I talk about art late at night or start working on things because I kind of obsess and my brain doesn't work for me to switch other things. Like I couldn't just switch painting because there was this crazy fear that I will not be able to get back to where I was.
Lorena, wow, we haven't heard from her for a long time. She asked, do you have any other accessories in the future? Purses, socks, handbags, clothing for pets?
Well, thank you, Lorena, for coming back. Appreciate it. We have no idea. With this whole COVID thing, a bunch of my licensing has been, everybody's kind of paused everything. So I have, we have some blankets and some other things. I have a skate deck series I just released. But I also have two snowboard signature decks coming out. Again, this year we did 2 last year. We did the Devil's DeVille and the Samurai. And this year I have 2 other ones coming out, and they'll be released. I think they're going to be available very soon. They're on a boat right now on the way over, but I think they're released on the site. I'll post up once I know for sure. But so that's probably the newest thing we got coming out. would be those. That's probably what the only things in the hopper right now. But we're always adding new stuff, dog stuff, whatever we can make them rock stars. But always adding new types of accessories and such. I do have a companion tiki mug in the works right now that will go with my bigger mug. So we're working on that. Details will come soon, but I'm excited to launch that. Everything else is just kind of on we're figuring it out. Everything's kind of delayed and on hold, and my custom toolboxes and all that kind of stuff's all kind of held up. We had 2 or 3 more Sunex toolboxes to release, so hopefully we'll get to those again soon. Those are also delayed. I should have been at SEMA, basically releasing those this month. So all delayed, but more stuff always coming. He's got good questions.
Any samurai? Little picture of a skate deck, so I assume that means a skate deck.
Samurai skate deck. You know what? We are already working on the next series of skate decks with Technique boards. Great to work with. They've been super fun. So we're already talking about the next run. I'm not sure if it's going to be. It might be nautical theme. We're working on that now. So don't know yet.
Yeah, Mark said a nautical snowboard would be legit.
Yes. That's not the board that's coming now. What is coming now?
Yeah, is it Great White Lake?
Oh, I'm sorry. Yes, there is a. So, well, since you guys are on the stream, we will just let you guys know ahead of time. So the 2 boards that are coming out is Space Race and Great White Wave, and they'll even have matching bindings and stuff. So it is going to be, yeah, snowboards. So we're excited to get those launched and share those. So yes, it is a nautical snowboard. So, but the skateboards we're still working on the preliminary designs for release in months. So we'll let you guys know first once we get to that point. Some of these projects just I forget about them because they were done 10 months ago, 11 months ago.
Serafina asks, are you going to make prints of this?
Yes, Serafina. There'll be paper, canvas, mini prints. We were just talking maybe even shirts. So everything will be available. Probably around about 3 weeks. Probably another week for me to finish painting it. And then we'll release all those options.
When do you know when the piece is done?
Oh, one of the classic questions. When do I know when the piece is done? I kind of work, again, with my big stupid hand, I work right to left, top to bottom. So I usually work all the way across, and when I get to this corner, it's done. That said, I go back and touch up as I go, and I see things and move things, but with this enamel, I try not to leave an area until it's done. Like I won't need to go back unless I want to pop a highlight or something. But when the enamel reaches that other side, that painting's done. And I know that's good because otherwise I could just overwork things and you never can walk away. So for me, that's how I know that everything's done. It's time to move on to the next piece. I'll know where a trouble point is in a piece before I even start it. Like what's going to give me a hard time, what's going to be tough to paint, what's a new technique or a new texture I never painted before. Like I know where all those spots are when I start a painting. So I try and just tackle those things and smash through them and just keep going. So when I get to that corner and that's enamel's all done, then it's all done.
Do you ever do custom pieces, custom paintings?
Question is, do I do custom pieces? Yes, I did not do customs for years, but now that we're home and off the road, I do large custom paintings, and you can always send me an email about that. But I do large custom commissions, and I've kind of opened that back up. I hadn't done them for years, and now that my schedule is kind of opened up and we're finding some time, I am finding a chance to do some of those. So, and it's been fun because some of these pieces have been really exciting. That Rum Runners was a commission, that giant one that you saw if you guys were following me a couple weeks ago. That one I was just talking about, that big nautical commission.
Dan asks, what are the favorite art museums you've visited?
What are the favorite art museums I visited? Oh, international or domestic? I've done a ton of international travel. I think we've been to 13 different countries. Is that what it is? I think it's 13. So I've loved seeing art in another country. I think I love that. I grew up in Boston, so the Boston Museum of Art was where I went tons of times. So I have an affinity for that just because I was there so much. I love San Diego because they have so many options, from the Museum of Man to contemporary. There's just, you can go to, 15 museums in a day.
Whereas, like, the Louvre was...
Yeah, the Louvre I found was, I enjoyed the quiet rooms, but I didn't want to battle to see, the Mona Lisa because you could spend your whole day doing that. So I didn't enjoy the Louvre at all. Some of the tiny little art museums, in Spain, and those I enjoyed more because it's just you're quiet and you get to see them, yourself, and seeing some of these collections of pieces from the mid-masters works rather than the traditional masters. But my favorite time of art is probably being in Italy and being in the Room of 300. You know it from which of the Dan Brown? I forget which Dan Brown movie it is. It's the piece, the Gouache piece, where he's it's got the flag in the top corner. It's a big room painted, and the girl falls through the top ceiling. That's probably my favorite art experience. Italy in itself is just amazing. In Rome and Florence, just is amazing in that way, an art point of view. But that's probably my most intense art experience because everywhere in Rome is just massive sculptures that are just thousands of years old, and art's everywhere. But being in that, in front of that giant Gouache is probably one of my favorite times.
Has there ever been a point where you felt like stopping painting?
Ever been a point where I felt like stopping painting? Not really. I mean, this is what I want to do. I love painting. This is what I'd be doing. And if you guys weren't here on the stream, I'm still going to paint. I may paint when the stream goes off. This is kind of what relaxes me. I feel incredibly fortunate to be able to do this as a living. I think that's amazing, and I don't take it lightly. I think for me, and I think now what it's become is that if I were to stop painting, I think it's like wasting this gift. I've been giving, people have collected originals and pieces, and it just would do everyone a disservice if I was just to give it up. It was just kind of like, why even bother? And I was like, I fleeced people to be involved. So I love doing this. It's what I want to do. I'll paint, for my whole life. I have no inclination to stop. I have plenty of bad ideas left. Great questions tonight, though, guys. Again, thank you guys for hanging out. We're going to do more of these. You can see some of the past ones on my YouTube channel if you want to check out some of the other videos and other time lapses we put over there. Definitely make sure you check out there and subscribe and watch it all over there. But if you don't want to leave the comforts of the FB, then by all means, we'll just follow my page and you'll see more of these, and we'll post up early that we're going to do them.
Lorena asks, do you have any rituals before you start painting?
Oh, do I have any rituals before I start painting? Man, I wish I did now. For me, the first stroke is the hardest to get motivated. Like to, if I'm farting around or playing with a TV or my phone, like I'm ready to paint, it's the hardest stroke that I may avoid, and I'll slack off and not be working. But the second that I make that first stroke, it's on, and I will paint through until we're done. I'm used to doing outdoor demos where I'll just paint for the entire day for 8-9 hours, stop for quick little lunch break, and then back to it. So for me, that's just getting started. They kind of have that mental, I'll hesitate, and not because I don't want to paint, just because to get ready for it, But I don't rub two sticks together. I'm not sacrificing a goat. I just kind of jump in. Psst, hey, The stream doesn't want to watch you lick your butt. Hey! Hey, stop licking your butt on the cam! We're gonna get a flag for indecency.
Well, that leads you to Dan saying, "Where's Bunny?" Licking his butt.
Yeah, licking his butt like a madman. So in case you guys don't know, Bunny is the dog's name.
And he's stubborn.
Oh, he's a piece of shit. Bunny, come here. Come here. Oh, buddies. So Bunny he'll tolerate it. You gonna help? You gonna help? He's like, I can't lick my butt from this position. Can you please help me out here? You right? Move along now. Move along now. It's like, this art sucks. He's pretentious. Bunnies. Bunnies.
Ben says you're finally gonna get some dog hair in a painting.
Oh, there's dog hair in every single painting I do. You could clone every dog I've ever owned from my original paintings. It's unbelievable.
You should get a PO box for fan mail for him.
Yeah. No, we're not going to support them getting their own channel. They're not going to get their own. They're already intolerable. Bunnies. How delicious is that butt?
Gotta make it sparkle.
Yeah, you're making me wonder. Like, am I missing out? Let's get a dog cam, they said. It'll be great. How could that go wrong?
Lisa earlier said Zico said hi.
Oh, Zico. Watch yourself. Zico won his own channel too. It's how it starts. We on the stream last night, we were streaming over on YouTube, and people were like, is there a lawnmower running? What's happening?" Because the bunny was just snoring like a madman.
Oh, you know why we're an hour later? He's ready for snacks.
Ah. So I'm just kind of going back in and just pushing back some areas that, just simplifying some shapes. This goes back to what we talked about earlier. Like, I have a sketch with a plan, but this is, these are the lines. This is all made up as I go. And for me, it goes back to also like talking about when a painting is finished. I don't know when the right amount is there, but I know when the wrong amount is there. So I just kind of go back in and just keep touching these things and pushing them back and increasing the. Subtracting some of these lines, adding some of these.
Whitney asks, do you have any plans for Halloween?
Whitney, do you have any plans for Halloween? Whitney, I don't even know what's legal. This is the first Halloween that I'll actually be home in years. I've had shows and demos. I think Florida last year at a demo. I think we're for the Sunex. I think we were at and also we've been in Mexico. We've been Day of the Dead shows. So this is actually one of the first times in a long time that I will be home, and I have no plans. I'm still trying to adjust to this, what an artist at home looks like after being on the road for so long. So just kind of figuring all these things out as we go. Live streams, things like that. Just sharing these. Didn't exist for me.
captioning you live.
That's fancy. It's captioning everything I say?
Yeah, it's closed captioning.
Airwolf. Closed caption that.
I just saw it sitting here. Here's a butt cam for you. Sexy.
Ah.
Shaky, shaky, shaky.
What happens?
This is all gonna fall apart
Yeah.
very quickly.
Yeah, this is so what's happening now for all you people who don't spend every day in the house. This is the countdown to when we don't get to do what we want to do anymore. So I'm going to start moving towards the end here. Any questions you guys have, get them in now. Feel free to follow up with any questions afterwards if you think anything. Thank you so much for joining the stream. Also, we'll be doing more of these, so I hope to see you guys again. You know, any suggestions for stream, anything like that, just feel free to pass them on. I'm excited for you guys to be here. Finally got the technology all worked out now and can share this. So I'm excited. Come here. Oh, of course I'm gonna kill you. Dog's petrified to come up here now. But I do appreciate you guys joining the stream. It means a lot that I can do this and share this, and people can listen to my ramblings about Flash Gordon and Airwolf. We didn't talk about bad movies yet. Oh, we have so much to talk about. Yeah, we'll probably stream soon. I'm not sure it'll be this piece, but we will definitely stream again soon. And we'll pick up where we left off. But thank you guys again for hanging out. And we'll catch you guys in the next one. Have a good night, and thank you.